Hello, Carolyn Herfurth here, business development strategist and founder of the Biz Truth. Welcome back to the last of the PIMPS that we have to talk about. Those culprits, those reasons you don't like to sell or you shy away from it. So we walked through the first four already: purpose, not being connected to it; influences, like what stories were created based on things that you heard growing up or from the media. The third reason is manipulation. If that's your model, if you were manipulated and that's your model for selling, I don't blame you for not liking it. And then the fourth reason is personal self-worth. Not standing in it, not owning up to the amazingness that you are. The fifth reason that we're talking about today is skills. It's sales skills. I'm telling you, 80% of entrepreneurs didn't come out of formal selling. And even those who did, myself included, have a really hard time selling yourself. Selling your own services is very different than selling something or someone else. And here's the other thing. When you got into your business, you got in your business to do what you do. You did not get in your business and tell people, I'm going to start a business because I want to get into sales. But that's really what business ownership is all about. It's about selling. It's about offering your service. And so what usually happens, what most entrepreneurs do, once that realization dawns on them, like, oh crap, people aren't buying from me. And then you discover that you were tricked. You have to sell. What usually happens is you go talk to your branding coach or your marketing coach or your one of your family members or some of your colleagues or a friend and ask for advice on how do you do this and how do you do that. So you get a whole bunch of tips and tactics and techniques for how to go about selling. But that stuff doesn't always land with you. It lacks an overarching approach. And most people don't take a sales training. They just don't take sales training because it's something you don't want to do. So why in the heck would you learn how to do it, right? So what I want to do is I want to teach you very quickly an overarching approach that you can use for selling if you're lacking in that sales skill arena and really need to brush up on that. So the approach that I teach is called Art of the Ask. And one of the misconceptions that most entrepreneurs have is that they think it's their job to convince your prospect to do business with you. There is nothing that's further from the truth. The whole purpose of a sales conversation is, can I serve you? Are you someone who would be best served by what I have to offer? It's an exploration. It's a collaboration. It is not, I'm going to get into convincing mode and see if I can get your money out of your hands right now. That's not what it's all about. And so, or talking until you're blue in the face and they cry uncle and they're like, okay, I'll buy from you, just shut up. Although that might work for some people, but I don't think that's how you want to sell. So the Art of the Ask is all about having that collaborative sales conversation. And I don't even think you need to call it a sales conversation. It's really a conversation. But there's thought on your part that needs to go into how you guide that conversation. Otherwise, you'll end up having a whole bunch of nice conversations that do not lead to business. So the 5-step approach of Art of the Ask is, first of all, get rid of your PIMPS. It's what I call rewrite your selling story. Because if you have not rid yourself of the reasons you don't like to sell or those culprits, you will never get around to a sales conversation no matter how skilled you are at selling. So that's the first step. The second step is to identify and define who your perfect peeps are. And what that does is it helps you identify where to meet them, how to find them, how to get referrals to them, how to get appointments with them. So identifying your perfect peeps is that second step. The third step is to really understand what's your value. That's framing the change that you bring to your clients when they work with you. And so that's the second thing, or the third step. And often this is where the convincing thing comes in. Like, a lot of times entrepreneurs think, oh, well, if I know what the benefits are of why someone should work with me, then I'm just going to go pitch them on the benefits. And that takes away the conversation part. All of a sudden it's you talking at them and trying to convince them to do something rather than engaging them in the conversation. So the fourth step is what I call be curious. This is where you start to craft your questions. This is where you're creating what's a thoughtful line of questioning that I can ask my potential clients based on what I know about them. So we're taking step 2, what you know about your perfect peeps, and step 3, the things that you do that are great, and tying those things together. So through the process of asking the thoughtful questions that you create, it's helping highlight what you do without you just coming right out and saying, hey, this is how great I am. And it also uncovers and helps your prospect reveal, is this something that I need? Is this a problem that, or is this something, is it going to solve a problem that I have? Or is it going to help me achieve a goal that I have? So that fourth step is so critical to tie those second and third steps together. And you've got to be in charge of that conversation. You can't go in and just say, hey, I'm asking questions, so it's a conversation. You've got to put some thought into it. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the results that you could. The fifth step is where it all comes together. So the fifth step is actually the sales conversation, and it's the close. So this is where you put into action what you know about your prospects, what you know about what you bring to them, and asking questions and guiding that conversation in a way that really helps your client, through their answers, reveal whether or not you are the right resource for them. And then that fifth step also encompasses the close, which is really a natural flow of the conversation. It's not a separate event. It's not like, okay, well, it's time for me to go into the close. It is part of the conversation. So what you'll find is when you follow these 5 steps and take this approach to your sales conversations, you'll find that you start to lean into the conversation. It's natural. It's comfortable. You feel more confident about the value that you offer. You feel better and more empowered when it comes to talking about your recommendation and asking for the business and talking about your price. And so much of it really kind of sweeps away some of those PIMPS and helps you resolve them and face them and have a really nice way to collaborate with your potential client. Art of the Ask is not where I give you, here are your scripts, entrepreneur, just memorize them and go do it. And the reason you can't have scripts and use scripts is because your prospect does not have their script to go along with your script. They have their own answers. So you've got to be able to improvise, planned, even improv actors rehearse and perform. So this is a little bit like that. So that's the approach. That's the art of the ask. Now, if you believe that sales skills are an issue for you, then let's talk. I have all sorts of programs and all sorts of ways that you can address this issue. Some things are self-study, some things are group programs, sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes I run live events. Who knows when you're going to be watching this or what will be going on at any given time. And I want to make sure that if someone does business with me and they want to learn the art of the ask, that we really get the right formula or the right recommendation for you that's going to work for you. It'll take us 5 or 10 minutes on the phone. So if you just go to thebiztruth.com/connect, CONNECT, then you can just schedule a short conversation with me. We'll talk about your situation. I'll make a recommendation as to whether or not you belong in anything that I have to offer. And if so, you've got your recommendation. If not, we're on our merry way. So I really, really appreciate all the feedback I've gotten from you since you've started watching these videos, and the ahas and the lights that are going on for you that just are helping you raise that awareness so that you can stand in your power and be more proactive. And as a business owner, you must own your business from beginning to end, and that also means owning the sales conversation. So I want to thank you for watching. I'll look forward to hearing from you. If indeed want a little bit of my time to chat about your situation. And again, you can do that at thebiztruth.com/connect. Sell well, entrepreneur.